Hello, my name is Rashad Bennett. I'm a student at the University of Kentucky computer science major. Well, to answer the first question, my biggest accomplishment, real life near death experience was a friend I had. He was on a Saturday night. I was sitting at home watching a movie, just relaxing. And my friend, he was out. He went to a buddy's house. He had some people over. They were drinking some beer or whatever. And apparently there was glass on the floor. My friend Will apparently slipped. And he slipped and hit like the edge of this beer bottle crack. And it like cut through his vein. And it caused a bunch of blood to happen and everything. And apparently when it happened, everyone freaked out and didn't know what to do. They called me because they knew me and him were good buddies, and they was like, "Shad, we need you to come here now and come pick him up. Like this is urgent. Like he had a big fall." I was like, "Okay, I'll be there. Just give me a sec. I'll be there. I'll be there as fast as I can." So once I got there, I went in to help Will. He was bleeding everywhere. His shirt was full of blood, pants full of blood. I got blood on me trying to carry him in my car. My whole car was soaked in blood. And I rushed to the hospital. Went towards the emergency department area. We ran in, got some doctors out. Doctors came out and they said, bring it. So we brought him in and everything. Doctor immediately rushed him to a room to try to do some procedures, stop this bleeding. And then one of the doctors eventually said, if y'all had came like an hour later or so, he would have lost too much blood because the glass cut into his artery and his vein, which caused him to lose so much blood. And he nearly passed out from all that. And they said, and she said, you saved his life from picking him up on time and rushing and getting here immediately. And I felt proud that I saved someone's life that day. It was because I would have never known if Will had, if the circumstances went the other way, it would have hurt me. To answer question two, um, my last project, we were working on this. It was for my design class. We were trying to assemble a car. So we used AutoCAD, which is this software where you can create parts, different type of parts. And we had to create an engine. We had to create the body parts, the inner parts of this car. And so the teacher paired you and a buddy together, paired me and a buddy in my class. And so we had to make a total of like 34 different parts. And so to work on this project, we stayed all day in the library, worked all the time. So we broke it up. He did 17 parts, then I did 17 parts. And towards the end, I noticed that he was struggling trying to make some of his parts. And so I went over to offer. I was like, you need any help or anything? He's just like, no, I got it. I was like, the project's due pretty soon, the next week. And he was like, I got it, I'll do it. And so um, when it got towards like a couple of days before, he still only had a few parts, and I was completed with mine. I completed my parts fairly quickly, and I was like, dude, let me come in, let me help, because you are struggling, and we got to get this done. I want to do great on this project. This is a big project for us, and this is like 40% of our grade. And it took me a bunch of convincing to get him to, and I said, yeah, I actually do need some help. I was struggling. I couldn't get some of the centimeters and meters down for the parts. I couldn't get exactly what the teacher had wanted us to do because there's specific specifications on like 0.001 millimeters for this part and like a centimeter for this part. So it was very 3 inches for this that long. So everything was so like had to be precise. And so I helped him with that, and we ended up cranking it through. We pulled an all nighter the day before to get all that done. We assembled it all together, and we created a nice. It was like a nice little like. It wasn't a brand car, but it was like a nice like sedan. And so we created it together, and we got it finished. Turned it in. Turned it in that morning after pulling the all nighter to the teacher's office. Said he was good. He said he was proud of it. He said he was great, and he's congratulated us on it, and felt very proud. To answer question three, my last job experience, I was working as a junior project manager for a construction company called Bennett Construction Enterprise. So basically, it dealt with industrial floor repairs to high polished concrete. So we would go to places like J&H Clothing Store. We'll go to Paul Ford. We'll go to Paul Miller Ford Car Company. We'll go to Toyota, and they'll ask us if we can help uh, establish a better floor. Do some high polished concrete, like literally like take up the whole floor and make a whole new one. And so there would be about there's like 4 or 5 members of this of like each project usually, and so we all have to work together. And like one part, I would like try to scrape up all the excess damage to the floor so we can end up putting a get this machine which will go over top of it and smooth it out and repair all those damaged cracks and stuff. And I have to report to the project manager and tell him that I scraped up this out. It's empty. The crack is empty, so it's clean. So we can like put a new material into the crack so we can fill it, and then we can go over with the machine and smoothing it out. And then I have to report to the project manager on every little thing, everything he told me that I had to complete. I had to make sure, tell him what was going on, the process, and tell him if it was complete so he can go over there and look through it, make sure it was all completed right. And then, because once we do all that, once he meets up with each member, that's when he can go to the head guy or Toyota or Paul Miller or any of the companies we worked for and say, we're going to lay over the floor plan now. Like, we cleaned up and got rid of the excess, and now we're just going to go over the floor plan, smooth it out, polish the concrete into a smooth material, and it's going to look nice. And so, as the junior project manager, I had to report everything before inspection, before they can fully inspect everything. And so I learned a bunch. I learned leadership role in that. I learned how to communicate with different people, businesses, and stuff, and how they work with when they're trying to get a contract done, and it helped me out a lot. Thank you, and thank you for considering me for this position.